First of all, thank you for bringing this back to San Diego County, at least. I mean, even though Rancho Bernardo is a place that we try to avoid a lot. I'm joking. We love it up here. You're very close to where Blink got their start. Have you ever thought about doing two of these conventions? One for maybe the adult side of things, and maybe one for, I don't know, the kids of the world? Because as you know, there's obviously Mraz was here.
Absolutely.
And this. Mraz and Jewel both started on alternative radio.
Absolutely.
We eventually had to let them go, and Blink started on alternative radio. They all go top 40 eventually, and that, in essence, is that what you guys are trying to look for? Is you can start something, and then if these artists do take off, like John Butler Trio should be everywhere.
Everywhere.
They should be everywhere.
Need to Breathe should be everywhere.
Need to Breathe should be everywhere. You had so many amazing artists this weekend, some of which, and this is what I'm hoping for, because formatically what you guys generally do is not necessarily something that people are pumping their fists at rock concerts at.
Right.
But now, some of these bands, they are.
We're launching them. AAA's always been the launch pad. AAA is where it gets started. AAA is where, the more adventuresome programmers will take chances on new artists and launch careers.
The way that it used to be, Michele and I were always very adamant about never, ever calling this a convention. In fact, before it was even called Sunset Sessions, we called it the anti-convention. We didn't really know what to call it. It was just the anti-convention. And there's an ebb and a flow into it where everything changes. And yes, initially it was about exposing artists, new artists. That has never changed. There are artists, there's been 37 bands in 3 days, and you probably haven't heard of about 30 of them. There's so many examples. Nobody knew who Five for Fighting was when Five for Fighting played our stages. Everybody knows who they are now. Nobody knew who the Zac Brown Band was. And 1 year after they played the Sunset Session stage, they were accepting a Grammy. Nobody knew who Susan Tedeschi was, okay?
She was our first artist our first Sunset Sessions. A little blues chick in her sundress, and the PA blew up on her at the Hard Rock Cafe in St. Thomas, where our Sunset Sessions was. And she climbed off the stage herself in her sundress and sandals, climbed up on a ladder, rewired something, and got back up on stage and kicked all our asses.
That's why she became what she became.
Yeah.
Well, these artists feel a kinship with the audience. They feel comfortable enough to do something like that. I was, in fact, talking to a programmer tonight who, and I haven't even told you this yet, who said the difference between other conventions, because there are so many of them, is you could be at a convention for 3 days and not even know that someone you wanted to talk to was there until you're at the airport flying home and say, oh my God, you were there. The way that this has been set up, the way that this has always been arranged was to be intimate, was to be able to make sure that people didn't go off in their comfort groups, their cliques, and to be able to have everybody talking and being together. And we're seeing radio stations talking with people who normally they would never have the chance to talk to. And the way that it's been arranged, everything from dinners and lunches, you don't go off on your own. Everybody wants to stay together because we put these amazing artists together. Right. So it is about the music. It will always be about the music, but it's also about the relationships.
Okay, personal highlight for you, this episode, this season, this session.
For me, I got to be honest, Alpha Rev played. They were the opening band of the first, and I had no less than probably 7 programmers come up to me, just shocked. And I'm like, why are you so surprised? They're like, we thought they would suck. Why would you think that? They didn't know anything about this band, didn't know anything. Well, because they were the first band. People don't understand where you play at this event. The audience is the same. We require the attendance of these radio stations and these film and television music supervisors. We require it. We get up on stage and we take attendance. No other convention, a record label will spend more money to put their artists somewhere like, I'll just say other conventions, other much more well-known conventions.
Smaller attendance than ours.
With a smaller attendance that do not have the people who, the whole reason that they'll bring a band in is to have this particular group of people see their band. And that particular group of people does not see the band. We require that.
Fox News came and interviewed Jason Mraz when he played here Thursday night.
Yeah.
And they said, well, why are you playing here? And he said, for gratitude. I'm playing here for gratitude. I'm playing here because Meg and Michele and the AAA format believed in me before anybody else did, and I'm coming to give back to them. That was bomb.
And you know what? When Melissa Etheridge up on stage, thank you, AAA Radio. Thank you, AAA. This is the format that celebrates the stars, plays the stars. This is the format that they can always come back to. You know what? I don't know that David Gray is going to have ever another Babylon. I don't know, but he will always have a life and an existence in the AAA format, and he knows that. And you know what? So does Dave Matthews, and so does Jewel, and so does Jason Mraz, and so does Melissa Etheridge. They get that this is the format that is loyal, that sticks with them. They launched them, and they'll retire them.
Correct. Retire? What the...
Well, you know, well, eventually somebody will.
Somebody's going to put them in
wow,
the
that sounded ominous, didn't it? That's not how I meant. They'll be with them. Look, they launched their careers, and they will be with them until the end of their careers. And there is no other format that will do that.
That being said, I'm definitely into taking Sunset Sessions to other formats. Alternative, Hot AC, maybe a country one. I love putting the music supervisors and the radio stations together, and I love putting new artists in front of them all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love to both of you.
Pleasure to have you guys here.
Mike.
And
pleasure to be able to.
Really, Project Rhythm Seed, everything that you guys do is just incredibly noble, and we're
happy to
honored
help.
to have you here and to be able to say that you were here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right.